So, how do you keep your joy high? How do you stay happy and joyful when you're doing something that you may not enjoy as much? It has to do with prep work. It has to do with practice. You have to train at it beforehand. If you don't train at it, then when you're doing something that you hence don't want to do, you're not going to be able to find joy in it because you didn't train for joy. So let me dive in and explain a little bit about that. So first thing is, should you even be doing that thing that you're doing? If you don't find it joyful, if you don't like what it is you're doing, why are you doing it? Maybe because you have to do it, it's part of your responsibility, or maybe because you don't have another choice, and so therefore you're like, I gotta do it. But there might be a chance to where you chose to do something that you really aren't passionate about, and maybe you don't really even need to do it, but for some reason or another, you thought that you had to do it. So I would say the first thing to look at is, see if you really gotta do this thing that you don't enjoy. Because there's a chance that you actually don't. And really dig into this one. Don't just look at it and go, well, I don't have any other options, so I'm just gonna do it. No, like really dig in and look for alternative ways to get around things, especially when you're doing something you don't enjoy. So let's say you went ahead and spent a lot of time on that, you dug it down and you realized that in reality it's on the path of doing something you really enjoy, but this one part of it, this one process, you're running into issues and you're finding yourself being frustrated. How do you find joy in it? So the way to do that is you need to be able to stop judging what it is that you're doing. When we judge what it is that we're doing, what we're saying is we're giving a mental position to what it is we're doing. We're saying this is good, this is bad. We're coming up with all of these stories and therefore making us feel good or making us feel bad. So if we're not able to find joy, that's because we're coming up with a negative story in our head. We see this as a problem. We haven't yet accepted that this is something I should be doing. This is something that's good for my life. A lot of times we see this as, why am I doing this thing? I don't want to do this thing. I'm only doing these things because of this person, because of this situation. I feel like a victim. And it makes me angry. How can I find joy if I feel like I'm forced? So it's about shifting perspectives. When we shift perspectives on what it is that the way we're looking at something, now we don't have the same type of judgment. Now, it may not be something we're really good at. A lot of times, if someone is not enjoying something that they're doing, it's also because they're not good at it. And it's okay, But it doesn't mean that we're not able to enjoy it. Maybe we have a lot of expectations on the thing that we're doing. We're expecting ourselves to be really good at it. We're expecting to create certain results, and we simply don't have the skill set. We don't have the experience, and we're just not able to create this expectation. So therefore, it gets us upset. How can we be joyful if we're constantly failing? Right? It's the way we're seeing ourselves. So if we take away that expectation, and we just simply, I'm doing this, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm okay with whatever the results are, then that helps with becoming more joyful. Now we don't have reasons to go ahead and constantly fuel these stories about how we're doing, judging, competing, comparing. And then now instead, we can focus our energy and our attention on what it is we're actually doing. We can become present in what we're doing. And when we become present in what we're doing, we are getting away from negative thoughts, because negative thoughts are always backed by some type of story of negativity. And also what we do increases, like our performance and our productivity increases in what we're doing, because we're putting all of our attention and our energy in what we're doing and not taking it away and putting it partially in judgment of what we're doing. Totally different things. This is practice. You need to practice on this. You need to go ahead and practice on doing this, so when the time comes, you actually have to apply it, you're able to do it. Trying to go ahead and learn on the spot is like somebody not going to practice every day and expecting to go into a game and do very, very well. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. You got to train, you got to practice, so when the time comes and you need to find some joy, because you're not feeling it, you know how to turn it around.